Hi, Brown with the Millennial Group. I am going to be discussing the Southwest Washington December 2025 market trends. We are finally in the new year, and I kind of want to make sure that we have an understanding as to how the real estate market has shifted, because it has, and I'm sure if any of you have been in the market or thinking about getting into the market and have been paying attention, you might be noticing that too. But I want to talk about the stats that go into it and help you kind of understand what to expect even in this brand new fresh month and in this fresh new year. Not much obviously has changed in the past 20 days, and I want to address how these stats are reflected in the marketplace today and what that all means. So let's go ahead and dive in, get started, and let's talk real estate in Southwest Washington. All right, so the first factor we're going to be discussing today are the new listings that came on the market in December 2025. We actually saw an increase of 5.7% of new listings as compared to December 2024, but we noticed a decrease of 19.2% from the homes listed in November 2025, so that previous month. And there are always kind of a low number of new listings that typically come on board or online in December, because we all know it's the holiday season, and we all know that most sellers feel that it's not really the best time. What makes December 2025 so different is that we did see actually more listings in the previous year in December. But at the same time, we only saw 334 new listings in 2024, but we saw 353 new listings in December 2025. So really not a whole lot of volume, right? Like just 350 new listings last month. And I say that because I also sell real estate in the Portland metropolitan area, and the Portland metro numbers were significantly higher. I mean, we're talking 1,000 plus more listings. The Vancouver, Battleground, Camas, Southwest Washington, like that market is such a different market, even though we're just right over the bridge. And the level of volume is drastically different than what we would see in the Portland metropolitan area. I mean, 353 new listings is not something to clap about. Now, as for pending sales, we noticed that we did have a decrease of 13% from 439 offers accepted in December 2024, and it decreased 23.3% from the 498 offers accepted in November 2025. So we only had 382 homes go under contract last month. And that, again, is nothing to really clap about or write home about. It's not impressive. And that's just me being transparent. And if anyone knows me, they know I'm very direct, and I'm very blunt and transparent. And, if you are a seller with your house on the market, you obviously probably saw that your neighbor's house probably didn't go pending either. And I typically don't like to generalize when it comes to real estate, because every neighborhood is different, every home price is different, every seller is different, and all of that is impacting whether or not a home goes under contract or a home closes. There's so many different things that impacts the trajectory of real estate at any given time. But I will say that, again, the number of pending sales were not exciting. And even though it is December, even though it is, the holiday season, we still had more pending sales in December 2024 than we did this year. And there are so many different variables that plays a role. I mean, this year was such a unique year, even outside of real estate. I'm talking politically and macroeconomically. It was just such a different year, and all of that is impacting the activity that is taking place, right? And so I want to kind of express, it doesn't necessarily mean that real estate is dead. It just means that things are taking a little bit longer to move. And that is an expectation you kind of need to prepare yourself for at this time. Even in January 2026, again, it's only been 20 or 30 days since December, and not much is going to change in a month, right? So I want everyone to keep that in mind. Now, closed sales did increase 13% from the 458 closings in December 2024. So we had 518 homes close last month, and it increased 27.6% from the 406 closings in November 2025. So that's very, very beautiful numbers. We had an increase of closings. We had an increase in activities of properties trading ownership. That is something to write home about, right? So basically, all of those closings were from November pending sales, because as everyone knows, the residential real estate market is typically just 30 days. You might have some shifts here and there, right? But on average, a closing timeline is usually 30, 45 days, depending on like contingencies and all of that, right? And inventory and time on market, that is what I really kind of want to highlight right now. So the first topic is months of inventory. In December 2025, we had just 2.8 months of inventory, so under 3 months of inventory. And if you're not sure how we track that data, basically we are factoring in, like, if we were to stop putting homes on the market in December 2025, we would only have 3 months before all of the listings are gone and sold and dried out. That doesn't sound like a lot of inventory, right? Like, that sounds like very little. And in November 2025, we actually had 4.1 months of inventory. So we actually had a decrease in months of inventory in December 2025. And in a normal market, I don't like to say normal market, because what is a normal market? There's no such thing. A market's a market. But in a market that we've all grown to be accustomed to, which is like 2020, 2021, like, we were used to homes just flying off. And typically, like, when you see 2.8 months, you feel like that is a seller's market, right? Because the way we track this, we say 6 months is kind of like an equal market. It's a balanced market. Anything less than 6 months is classified as a seller's market. And anything over 6 months, we would kind of deem as a buyer's market, right? But I can ask anyone around in either Southwest Washington or Portland, like, would you, if I were to ask you this question, I'm going to ask you guys right now, like, do you feel like this is a seller's market, or do you feel like this is a buyer's market? And like, answer that to yourself honestly. If you've been paying attention to the market, not everyone does, or if you've been in the market recently, like, did you feel like this was a seller's market, a buyer's market, a balanced market? Like, what does your body tell you? And I've asked people, you know, I've asked clients, I've asked sellers that I've represented, like, what kind of market do you think this is, before I dive into the statistics with them? And most of the time, they will say, I feel like this is a buyer's market, which is so interesting because, as I just mentioned, we are in months of inventory. We're in that landscape where it's technically like classified as a seller's market, but a lot of people they feel that we're in a buyer's market, but the numbers show otherwise. And that's what's so different about real estate today. Like, it doesn't necessarily match what kind of the numbers are showing, if that makes sense. Now, the total market time did increase to 83 days. So your average home would likely be on the market for 83 days before they go pending or get an accepted offer. And that's actually up 12 days from the previous month, in November 2025. And then it's up 11 days from December 2024. So we're seeing more time on market from previous month and from previous year, like, at that point in time. So again, that kind of touches a bit about like buyer sentiment and seller sentiment in the real estate market here. It doesn't necessarily feel like a hot market anymore, right? We're seeing more concessions being offered from sellers or builders, especially the builders. Oh my God, have you guys been paying attention to new construction lately? I mean, especially in Southwest Washington, because there's so much new construction activity going on, and I'm proud of that. We obviously need more housing because everyone feels that there's this affordability issue, which is why we've kind of dampened down on buyer demand, which is why all of the statistics is showing the way that it is. It's economic 101. When demand is lower than supply, things shift, right? And vice versa. But everything that is happening right now, if you're paying attention, or if you're calling your friendly real estate agent, or if you're watching CNBC or whatever you're doing, like, you guys, we definitely know now that we're not at the height of it anymore. Like, sellers, builders, they are starting to see that if they're going to enter this market as a homeowner in Southwest Washington, it's more important now than ever to be priced competitively from the get-go. No games, no testing the market. This is certainly not a market you want to test in. And I say this all the time to sellers, listen to the market. The market is never going to steer you wrong. It's not. It's damn near impossible. Listen to the market. Even if you're wanting to sell right now, right? Like, what are the comps showing you? And the sellers that end up successful almost close to immediately, because don't get me wrong here, not every house is on the market for 83 days. There are some properties that I've seen and I've represented that went pending 5 days or less, right? So this is not, again, a generalization. The people who price the properties competitively to begin with can still win in a market like this. And that's not me saying give your house away, because every time I say that, I get a rebuttal. I'm not going to give my house away. You're not giving your house away. You're listening to the market, right? We're at a very, really strange time where we just don't have the demand like we used to for home ownership. So you have to pivot when things change. You have to change with it, right? So that's why we're seeing home builders and some sellers, offering money towards rate buy downs or closing costs or free home warranties for X amount of years. I mean, there's so many new concessions going on right now because it's a different market, and the people who are listening and paying attention to those changes are going to win. They won't be sitting for 83 days, I can tell you that much. Right? So all of that is to say is if you are a buyer, as of right now, for the most part, not every situation's like this. You might still come in contact with multiple offers, because I've represented buyers in Southwest Washington where we were competing on multiple offers for, a hot home. Don't get me wrong. But if you are a buyer and you're entering the market, you need a strategy in place to understand how to navigate this new landscape, because most of the time you might be able to get some type of concession. And that's just the reality. I don't want to lie to anyone. I don't want to promise anything. There's a good chance that you might have that opportunity at this time. And if you're a seller, as I've stated before, position yourself to be better than the rest of the other competition. Not that there's a lot right now, which is to your benefit, honestly. If there were more homes plus everything else that's going on, geez. But luckily, that's likely not the case for you. You're probably competing with another 5-7 homes in the neighborhood, and not even that, within a mile radius of you, 2-mile radius of you. It's not a whole lot of homes that you're going to be competing with. So that's a plus, right? But why not up it up a notch and shine brighter than those 5, 7, maybe 8 other homes that you're competing with by just pricing yourself correctly the first time? Don't wait 2 months after that hot time period of that, it's that 2-week time period when you're first on the market that matters the most. Like, don't do that to yourself. Please, for the love of God. Shine bright like a diamond while you can. So I'm gonna end this by sharing with you all the average and median sale prices for Southwest Washington homes. We're gonna be comparing 2025 to 2024. I know we're in 2026, but it does take us about a month to get stats for the previous month. So as we're comparing 2025 to 2024 through December, what we notice is that the average sale price did increase 2%. So from $611,000 to $623,000. And in that same comparison, the median sale price has increased 1.9%, might as well say 2, from $540,000 to $550,000. So home values are still going up. If you take anything from this video, take that. Take that and stick it in your pocket. Is it substantial like we have seen before? No. But the key thing is that home values are still going up. And that is the beauty of real estate, guys. It's a really nice, good investment, especially if you're thinking long term. Short term, you might need to call me. But long term, home values go up. And that's the beauty of real estate, of most assets, really. Don't ask me about cars, because that's a whole different story. But home values have been going up despite all the craziness, despite the high interest rate, despite the longer days on market, despite the less closed sales, despite. We're still seeing that values are going up. And that's the beauty of real estate, folks. So if you all have any questions about this information that I've shared with you, or about how to develop a strategy for your buying or selling goals, do not hesitate to call, text, email me, send a pigeon, a bottle, a note in a bottle, whatever. We're on the Pacific, right? We have that nice body of water to us. So however you need to contact me. I'm happy to be of service. I'm happy to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. And that is one of the greatest things about me, not to toot my own horn. I tell folks what they need to hear, not want to hear, because I want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for the best possible outcome. People who tell you what you want to hear are just thinking about themselves, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear because I'm thinking about you and your future. So give me a call if you have questions. Happy to support, and I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video.